Good morning. Welcome to the University of South Wales International Inquiries and Admissions Hangout. You've joined us on National Christmas Jumper Day, so we are sporting some fantastic Christmas jumpers to welcome you. My name's Tim. I'm an international student advisor, and with me today on my right is Matt. Matt is an Inquiries and Admissions Officer, and today we're going to run through a very quick presentation with you to run you through some frequently asked questions, all the information you need to know, and then we'll be taking questions for the second half of the Hangout. So I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Matt in a moment. He is going to start with our presentation, so I'll leave you in Matt's capable hands.
Hi, thank you, Tim. Matthew Davis here. Like I say, Tim, Matthew, I am an International Inquiries and Admissions Officer. I deal with postgraduate and undergraduate applications. We just run through a few questions now this morning. Just loading up our presents. Okay, just going to run through pretty much just some frequently asked, which the majority of students would ask us on applications, just to ease your mind there. Oh, it's just disappeared. Some technical difficulties here. Okay, let's fire away. So a lot of people ask us, obviously this is for the February start, February 2017, and people ask us what's the deadline for sending an application to study with us at start in February. Well, obviously you need to allow time for us to process it, and but we prefer to receive a complete application around early January, would be at the latest. The next question I guess people ask is how long will they have to wait to receive an offer? And we aim to process all applications within 5 working days. Now sometimes it could be quicker as well, and we try a lot of times to do 2 to 3, but 5 is the kind of maximum that we give. Okay. The next question that people ask us is what will they need to do to receive an offer, an unconditional offer? And pretty much they have to meet all the conditions, and that's things such as obviously we need evidence of qualifications that you've achieved. We need a good personal statement outlining the reasons why you want to study at the University of South Wales. Obviously for international students we need evidence of English, because the medium of teaching is through the medium of English. And we'd also need a reference as well from your most current institution. Or from your most current or recent employment as well. Other things that you would need to do before you can start with is also to pay a deposit as well, and that will get the ball rolling. Okay. In terms of payments to the university, one thing that we use is Flywire. That's our most preferred option of payment, and it's pretty quick and neat way to pay the university, and it's quite effective. You can also use bank transfers as well through BACS. All the information is on our website, but that tends to be a slightly slower, long-winded process. So we do recommend Flywire, and you'll see the links on our website later. Okay. Just one thing to note as well is that people always ask us what's a CAS, and a CAS is a confirmation acceptance of studies. Now, that is only for international students, Europeans. If there's any Europeans watching, they do not need a CAS. Okay. When applying, also things to bear in mind is that enrollment February starts on the 6th of February. Okay, so all applications will be considered on an individual basis. So you need to bear in mind visa processing times vary between different countries. So you need to be aware of that when making an application. We do try to get things turned around as quick as possible, but obviously we are governed by the visa processing time as well. You also need to think about arranging travel and in terms of flights, and also accommodation as well, because that needs to be arranged as well. It's not just turning up on the 6th and start. Then there's things to bear in mind before you start. Okay. So what happens after you receive an offer to study? Well, for international non-EU applications, you need to complete the following steps. So you need to accept your offer as soon as possible, make a deposit in order to receive your CAS, as obviously said already. We would issue a CAS and then you would need to make your visa application, and then the ball is in your court then, and it's just a way to go. We wait for you. In terms of EU applications, you need to accept your offer as soon as possible on UCAS for UCAS applications, or on the My USW portal for direct applications. Okay, and obviously if you have any other questions, we can cover them throughout the rest of the presentation. Okay, I'm just going to pass you over to my colleague Tim now.
Lovely, thanks for that information. So in this second half of the presentation, I'm going to talk you through a little bit about the support, welfare and immigration services available at the university. If you've missed any of Matt's presentation, don't worry. At the end of the session, we're going to upload this live to YouTube, and you'll be able to scroll back, read through all the presentation again. So if you have missed anything, either ask us a question, wait till the end, and scroll back through. So the university provides arrival services for you if you're arriving to the university for the first time. And what we would always do is recommend that you fly into Cardiff, Wales Airport. The reason for that is it's very, very close. We have a fantastic relationship with the airport. And quite often after a long flight, what you want to do is get into your accommodation quickly. We also offer you a free taxi for the first time you arrive from Cardiff, Wales Airport to your accommodation, be that a university-owned hall, or if you've chosen private accommodation in the local area, we offer you a free taxi to that accommodation. That's really, really, really easy to book. And all you do is at the bottom of this slide, there's a link. You click on that link and it takes you to our arrival services page. You fill out a booking form with your details and your flight details, and then we sort all of that for you. The feedback we've had indicates that this option is what our students really prefer. It means that when you get here, you come through immigration really, really quickly, because Cardiff is a fantastic little airport. There's no anxiety about traveling. We make sure somebody meets you in arrivals with a sign with your name on it. They take all your baggage, and all the drivers we use from the local company are fantastic. They know all the local routes. They can tell you a little bit about the history and things when you get here. So it just means when you arrive, it's a fantastic start to your time with us. If unfortunately for some reason you can't fly into Cardiff, we do offer a service at Heathrow, but this service is only available until the 14th of February. What happens at Heathrow is we have a representative who will meet you just as you come through arrivals and assist you in buying a coach or train ticket to Cardiff. You'll then need to make your own way to your accommodation. You should expect to pay somewhere between £50 and £160 for a train ticket between London and Cardiff, and somewhere between £30 and £60 for a coach ticket London to Cardiff. We wouldn't really recommend this option because it does mean you have to get your own baggage onto the coach and the train and sort out your onward travel from Cardiff. If you do decide to use one of our arrival services, and we would recommend that you do, you need to book these 5 working days before your travel. This is so that we can put everything in place to make sure you're met and the service is as streamlined as possible for you. As I've said, for both of them, you just complete an arrival services booking form. Unfortunately, you can't book it by phone or email because we need specific details from you. Print out and travel with the information we send you after you've filled in the form. And like I say, the whole set of information is available on our arrival services link at the bottom. We'll make sure all the links for these are posted out after the chat today. So if you've got any questions or want to run through the information, you can do so. We also run something called International Welcome Programme, or IWP, for all our new students in February. This year, it will run between the 4th and the 10th of February, and we would recommend you arrive on the 2nd or the 3rd so that you're settled, and that when we start on the 4th, you're here for the first day. Don't worry too much if you can't make it for the 4th, because your flight's already booked for the 5th or the 6th. You'll still be able to join into the welcome programme any day up to and including the 10th of February, but we would recommend that you arrive on the 2nd or the 3rd so we can get everything ready for you. Please try not to arrive earlier than the 2nd of February because the university will not be ready. It's like arriving for the first day at a job. You don't arrive earlier than the first day because nothing will be ready for you. So please aim to arrive on the 2nd or the 3rd, our main arrivals weekend, so that everything is ready and we can make sure that the whole journey is as stress-free as possible for you. The International Welcome Programme focuses on social and practical acclimatisation. It's a really, really important week. And what we do is we run through a whole series of social, personal and interactive sessions with you that guide you through everything you need to know for the first couple of weeks. And we'll show you some photos in a moment that really show you what Welcome Programme's all about. Most of the IWP activities are free, although some options such as meals or coach trips may incur a small fee for you. It's normally £2 to £3, and we try and keep everything free where possible. What we would say though is if you attend the IWP, make sure you come to everything on the timetable. Everything on the timetable there is there for a reason. It all guides you through something you specifically need to do during the week. It will help you make loads and loads of friends ready for the first day of your course so that when you get there, everything is done as possible. Again, you need to fill in a booking form, but again, it's all online and it's really simple to do. There's the link at the bottom of this slide, and we'll make sure the links are again sent out after this presentation so you know where to make the bookings. So see, these are some of the photos from our last International Welcome Programme. You can see on the top left, we've got students registering. So you'll meet other students who are currently students here. They are part of our Global Assistance Programme. They will meet and register you and be able to talk you through the programme, as well as myself and the other international student advisors. It's a great way if you've got a couple of questions when you first arrive to meet us and ask us any small questions you've got. You can also we do sessions like drumming, circus skills, and a whole range of other things as well, just to get you to meet people, have new experiences, and as you can see, everybody's having a great time. We also take you on tours of the local area, Pontypridd, Cardiff and Cardiff Bay, and as you can see, we quite often go out on boat trips, especially in the better weather, and February is fantastic because you get to see all of the Cardiff Bay. It's a guided tour around there, and you can go out on the boats to see the barrage and how it all works. We also run walking tours of Cardiff Castle by a local professional tour guide, and they talk you through the history and all the fantastic things that Cardiff has to offer. They'll take you to the shops and show you where everything you'll need as a student is. We also produce an international welcome booklet that complements the tours, and I'll show you that in a moment. It's really worthwhile coming to the International Welcome Programme because it will set you up for your time studying at the university and give you the best possible start to your academic, personal and social life here. So, as our name implies, the Immigration and International Student Advice Team are here to deal with specific immigration and non-academic queries you might have. All students, both international and EU, can come to us for advice, but there are some things international students who are from outside the EU may wish to consider when applying for their visa. We provide lots of information and comprehensive guides on applying for your Tier 4 visa, including a step-by-step video to help you complete the application forms. Again, we'll make sure these links are available at the end, so don't worry about having to write all of this down now. We can help check any financial documents you've got to make sure they're correct to minimize the risk of any refusal. All you have to do is pop them over to us by email. A high-quality scan is best. The biggest reason we see for refusal is not having the correct financial documents. So please make sure you send the documents over to us if you're not 100% sure, and we'll do our best to turn them around within 2 days to get them back to you. The other thing with immigration is don't assume anything at all with immigration. It's always better to check stuff with us. Please don't check with your friends. It's always better to check with us. We're professionally qualified and registered immigration advisors, and we make sure that the advice you're getting is always absolutely up to date and correct. You can contact us in a number of ways. The best way is always by email to international.advice@southwales.ac.uk. Always include as much information as possible so we can help you. That helps us sending multiple emails to you to just get little bits of clarification. But also, if you've got an urgent issue or you just want very small clarifications on things, we have a live chat service that's staffed most days 10 till 4 UK time, and on a Tuesday is staffed 10 till 1. You're always put through to one of the immigration advisors in the team, so myself or one of the other advisors, and we make sure that that is staffed every day. You just pop onto our website, which is at the bottom there, start typing in your details. It would be really helpful if you could tell us your name and either your applicant or student number when you pop on, just so we can have all your details ready to hand when you're asking questions. Unfortunately, we can't answer every question over the Ask tool, and we may ask you to send us an email, but we will answer as many as possible live with you right there. And so for those of you who are applying for a Tier 4 visa, it's now a slight change in the way visas are issued. You'll only receive a 1-month visa or sticker in your passport. You will then collect your main visa after you arrive in the UK, and you can do this at our Pontypridd campus because of the arrangement we have with the Home Office. We recommend you opt to collect your card, your BRP card, from the university, as it's difficult for us to help if you've opted to collect it from the post office rather than us. It also means if there's a problem, we can try and get things sorted before you arrive, or once you do arrive, we can make sure if there are any problems, we get them sorted straight away with you. Please do not opt to collect your card in London. We can't guarantee the cards will be available in London on the day you arrive. And so if you do choose to do this, it may mean you would have to travel to London several times to check if your card is available. We would always recommend in your Tier 4 application, you make sure you click on the ALC, the alternative location for collection, and enter in the university's code. This is on your CAS and on the slide, but please make sure you enter it and check that it says the University of South Wales, Pontypridd campus. You'll receive further information on BRP collection once you've booked either your International Welcome Programme, your arrival services, or once we let know you're arriving. The information will also be sent out to you through a series of emails just before you arrive. And then we've lastly got some information from our accommodation team. Now, neither Matt nor I are accommodation specialists, but we will do our best to help you through this if you've got any questions today. The accommodation services deal with all accommodation queries at the university, and it's up to you whether you choose to live on or off campus. But as you can see, we have some fantastic accommodation from the photos there on campus. The view at the bottom, that's straight from our halls of accommodation right across, and it's an absolutely stunning view in the morning. So we really would recommend, where possible, you choose on-campus accommodation, simply because it's a fantastic location. You can find all the information for accommodation, both on and off campus, on the university's website. It's just southwales.ac.uk/accommodation. And on there, you can check through all of the options available, all the prices and the contract lengths as well. But again, if you've got any questions, we will refer you on to the accommodation team. The application process is as follows. You must make sure you've accepted your course offer on a firm basis and make sure you've got an unconditional offer before you can apply. Accommodation will then send you an email inviting you to fill on the online applications and give you an RMS number. That's really important if you have any accommodation queries, that you use that when you reply to them. International students should let accommodation know when they've used their CAS so that they can check that everything's okay. Offers will be sent to you by email, and then you'll have a week to accept and pay for the accommodation. Accommodation payments are required in full for the whole year, but if you do have a problem with that, please speak to our accommodation team. We'll give out their details in a moment, and they'll talk you through anything they can do for you there. We have a dedicated arrivals moving in day. Again, you can see it's a fantastic day. We have students on hand to help you move in, and there's a fantastic accommodations team who make sure you get to the right place at the right time. It's always a really great day because everybody arrives together, and we make sure that you're not alone and that everything's sorted through. Again, if you're bringing parents, there are accommodation teams on hand to talk to them about any questions they've got, but we would recommend that you try and do as much as possible on your own as well, so you get to know the processes and routines at the university. If you want to live off campus, however, you can find university accredited landlords on southwalesstudentpad.co.uk. Again, we'll make sure these links are available for you at the end. All of these landlords are vetted by the university and licensed by the local authority, so we can guarantee a minimum standard of accommodation for you. And it means if you do have any problems, you can come back and talk to the university about what to do about them. But if you have any questions about accommodation, you can contact the accommodation team on accom@southwales.ac.uk or on the telephone number shown on the screen at the moment. It's always best to call between 9 AM and 4 PM. The accommodation office is staffed 24 hours a day, but unfortunately, it may not be possible to answer your questions outside of the times shown there. It's always best to email, and please give as much information in your emails as possible. So again, this is Matt and Tim. We've been trying to answer some of the frequently asked questions before we go live to your questions as well. But if you have any further questions, please contact us on either international.admissions@southwales.ac.uk or international.advice@southwales.ac.uk. We'd love to hear from you, but as I say, we'll do some live chat questions now with you, and then we'll give out all the links again as we go through. If you bear with us a moment, we'll just get back to our live chat screens, and then we'll be ready to answer all of your questions this morning. So welcome to those of you who've just joined us. As we said at the beginning, it's National Christmas Jumper Day. So Matt and I thought we'd celebrate today with you by wearing our Christmas jumpers. If you give us a minute to get through your questions, we'll start answering them together. So I can see we've got a number of questions coming in. The first one is from Eve. Hello, Eve. You'll be reaching on the 16th of January. Can you settle in by then? So orientation International Welcome Programme does start on the 4th of February. Enrollment, however, starts on the 6th, and I believe finishes on the 13th of February. So if you're reaching on the 16th of January, you're going to be a little bit early. We won't be able to assist you with arrival or anything like that until at least the 2nd of February because none of the systems will be ready. If you are going to be later than the 6th of February, you need to let us know. But what we would recommend is you're here for the 4th of February, just so we can get you all settled and everything in place. I hope that answers the question, but if you've got more questions, just pop them up there. Julia, you've asked us, you've already got an unconditional offer and you'll accept your offer today. Fantastic, it's great to know you'll be joining us. How big is the chance you'll get a room on campus? Funnily enough, we spoke to accommodation just before we came live on air. At the moment, there are spaces for February. What we'd advise is you get your application in as soon as possible, and we will then get an offer out to you as soon as possible. Well, where we've got a little bit blurry here, technical difficulties. Oh, there we are, coming back into focus. But yeah, if you email accom@southwales.ac.uk, they'll talk to you about what your chances are of getting a room. It also depends on the room type you want and things like that as well. Now, we've also had a look through some of the questions we had before today's session. There were a number of questions on your visas and what you need to do for that. As we said in the presentation, it's really important if you've got immigration questions, you pop onto our website, read the information there and let us know. And then when you arrive, we'll make sure you get one of our international student arrival booklets and information booklets, which has got everything you need to know in there about arriving at the university, settling in, and things like that. So we are live here waiting for your questions. I don't know if you want to say anything about the admissions process, Matt?
I think we covered quite a bit. I guess I think they're just to remind you of just to apply in good time. Just allow us time to process the application and provide as much information as possible to make an informed decision. Really, I think one of the biggest delays is when we don't get certificates and transcripts and any other documents, and we've got to keep chasing people. So as long as you provide all the information which is required, then we'll be able to make a quick decision for you and get you here on campus straight away.
So hello, Olivia, welcome. I hope you've got some questions for us today. Please, if you've got any questions, just pop them into the chat box. We'd be more than happy over the next sort of half an hour to answer any questions you've got. Hopefully, all the questions were answered by the presentation. And for those of you who did miss the very start, after the live session today, this recording will go up onto YouTube. You'll be able to access the whole of the recording, and we'll make sure that any links we put into that are also included. But if you've got any questions, we can either answer them now or by email. The email addresses for the inquiries and admissions team is international.admissions@southwales.ac.uk, and for the immigration and international student advice team is international.advice@southwales.ac.uk. For those of you with accommodation queries, it's accom@southwales.ac.uk. But as you know, most of the links will be on the presentation, and our website includes a whole host of information for you, everything from pre-departure to arrival services and our international welcome program. For those of you who are already planning your travel, like it looks like Eve and Julia may be doing, you can pop onto our website. There's a whole pre-departure section on there, which you may find useful. It includes the top 10 things to carry in your luggage, the top 12 tips when you're coming through arrivals, how to book your arrival services at Cardiff or Heathrow, and a whole host of other things you may need to know before you arrive. We have a pre-arrivals checklist for both our EU and our international students, because the information is ever so slightly different for both of you. But if you do have any questions, please let us know. Got quite a few of you watching. Hopefully you've got some questions for us this morning. Okay, so Olivia, you're coming to us through the Erasmus scheme. Fantastic. So you've got a question about the Erasmus Learning Agreement. Who has to sign it? You need a signature. So that'll be your faculty. So once you've arrived and you've enrolled, you'll be able to take your agreement to your faculty. There's a designated member of staff there, and they will be able to talk you through the whole scheme and sign off any forms you've got. Unfortunately, again, we can't sign anything off before the 6th of February if that you're arriving in February, or before the first date of your course in January if you're arriving in January. But once you get here, we'll make sure that everything is sorted for Erasmus. We'll be able to make sure you've got all the letters you need and you'll have a directed contact in your faculty for Erasmus. If you haven't had the information yet, don't worry. When you arrive, we'll be able to make sure everything is sorted and pass you the contact details, even probably walk you across the office you need to be into, so don't worry about that. We've also got a question from Jules. Sorry, our microphone's just in the way of the questions here. So Jules, you're currently searching for an off-campus private accommodation. You'd like to know if the accommodation team could give you some advice about the local landlords. So we don't give advice about individual landlords, but we do have, as we were saying in the presentation, a list of accredited landlords, and that's on southwalesstudentpad.co.uk. Any landlord who's on there has had their accommodation standards checked by the university and by the local authority. And we make sure that it's a minimum standard, and we make sure every year that those landlords are reaccredited. And if you pop on there, you can see all the photos for the house, what's included for your rent, what's not included. It's a really, really good way to have a look at the accommodation available. If you're still not sure on an accommodation choice, you can email the accommodation team and they will be able to give you some information about the local landlords, how long they've been accredited and things like that. But it's best to contact the accommodation team, especially if you're looking at private accommodation that's not on the accredited list, because we would always recommend you go through our accredited list. If you've got other accommodation questions, they'll also be more than happy to answer those as well. But when you arrive, in our International Student Information Booklet, there's all kinds of information about choosing your accommodation, getting along with housemates for the first time if it's your first time away, and we can talk to you about any other issues you might have like that as well. So there's quite a few of you watching now. We've got a few questions steadily coming in, but like we say, Matt and I are here to answer any questions you've got over the next half hour or so, and we'll make sure that all the answers to the questions are put up after the session today as well. So for those of you who missed it, you can rewind to the beginning of today's session and see our presentation. The presentation covers inquiries and admissions most frequently asked questions, some information on visas, immigration, what you need to do when you arrive, collecting your visa in the UK, some accommodation choice options, and then how to contact all the different teams before you arrive and once you've arrived as well. Okay, Olivia, so you need a parking place because you'll be travelling by car. Are there parking places near the mountain halls? The university, as you may well have guessed, has quite a lot of parking for students. Some of the halls do have parking places, but some don't. It depends where you're allocated a room. There is parking off campus as well, but we would always ask students to think very carefully about if they need a car here. For your first arrival, yes, there will be parking and you can offload everything and the car will be fine for a few days. But if you're planning to keep your car here, we would always ask you to think very carefully about if you need a car. If you go onto the university's website and put in travelling, there's a whole host of information about travelling around the local area, other options than car. But again, if you email accom@southwales.ac.uk, they'll be able to tell you what's happening and if you can have a car with different halls choices as well. And similarly, Eve, the move-in dates depend on when your course is starting. So it'll be that'll all be worked out in your contract. You may be able to move in early if your room is vacant. And again, if you email the accommodations team, they'll get you through. Unfortunately, we can't answer all the accommodations questions, but we'll get you through as much as possible. And again, Eve, if you want to change your room choices, that will depend on what accommodation is available. Please be aware that if you sign a contract is legally binding, and whether that's with the university or with a private landlord, a contract, once you've signed it, is legally binding. The university would do everything we can to help you and make sure that room changes where possible. But it's really important to make sure you've got the best accommodation choice for you before you come. If you notice on our website, when you go into the accommodation choices, you can do a live virtual tour of the accommodation. It gives you a 360-degree view of all the rooms, all the kitchens, all the social spaces, so you know exactly what you are before you get there. What I would recommend is you do one of those tours, have a look at some of the videos we've got up about the accommodation, make sure those choices are right for you. And if you're still not sure, pop a quick message to our accommodation team, ask them can they send you some photos, ask maybe if they can put you in touch with some of the students who are staying in halls, join our Facebook groups. You can ask all the questions there then about what accommodation choices are available and what's going on. If you've got any other questions, again, we've still got quite a few of you watching. Hopefully this is a really useful session for you. If you've got questions, we'll stay live. If not, what we'll do is we'll add some extra information to the end of this, and we'll make sure that everything is put up. We may end the session early if we haven't got a load of questions coming through, but if you've got questions, please do ask them. Matt's here to answer all your questions on admissions, inquiries, anything like that. I'm here to answer all your immigration and welfare queries. Hopefully we can be of some use today. We'd love for you to have lots and lots of questions for us today, but if we've answered all your questions, that's really great. We'd love to be welcoming you either in January or February for the intakes, either as part of our Erasmus or our main intake in February. As we said at the beginning, you can scroll back through the whole of today's presentation to hear all of our frequently asked questions. And also get information on visas, arrival services from both Heathrow and Cardiff, although we would always recommend you arrive to Cardiff, and the International Welcome Programme. Remember, we're here to answer any questions you've got today. We've got a few questions maybe coming in. We're looking at, is it also possible to fly to Bristol? So Julia, we would recommend that you try to fly to Cardiff where possible. Cardiff is the best airport choice, normally because the immigration teams there know the university and they've got all our contact details. It also means we can provide you a free taxi to your accommodation. We don't have an arrival services at Bristol, and although it is possible to fly to Bristol, it's not a very easy airport to get out from into the main train stations and things like that. So we would recommend Cardiff if possible. And depending on which country you're flying from, Cardiff has links to quite a lot of countries now, and you can always hop via Amsterdam. We would, again, as I say, always recommend Cardiff because it's a free taxi direct to your accommodation. It takes all the stress and hassle out of arriving, but also we offer free arrival services from Heathrow until the 14th of February. Cardiff is 366 days a year we offer arrival services, but for Heathrow it's just until the 14th of February. I hope that answers the question. If you do decide to fly to Bristol, on our arrival pages, we do have information on travelling independently from Bristol, but as we say, it's not the easiest choice to get to and from. Jules, that's not a problem at all. We hope we answered your question. If you've got any more, please let us know. We'd love to spend the next half hour or so answering questions, and that's what we're here for today. Not a problem, Julia. We hope to see you in January or February, whenever you're arriving. But if you have got any other questions, please do let us know. So yes, please do ask us as many questions as you've got. All the important links and information will be published after today's session. That includes links to all our application information, all our immigration, pre-arrival, arrival, and arrival services links, our international welcome programme, and information on the accommodation services as well. If you've just joined us, welcome. We're here for as long as you've got questions for us. But please do just feel free to ask us anything. We'll do our best to answer it, or if we can't, we'll refer you on to the correct team. If we haven't got any more questions coming through, we'll just give you some of our contact details again. And then what we'll do is we'll end the session early, and we'll make sure you've got all access to all the important links and information. We'll make sure you've got access to the presentations as well, so you can see everything. So just very quickly, my name again is Tim. I'm an international student advisor at the university. You can contact the Immigration and International Student Advice team, for which I'm a member, either by emailing international.advice@southwales.ac.uk or accessing our live chat, which is intsupport.southwales.ac.uk/ask. Again, we'll make sure that's popped up at the end of the presentation. And this has been
Matthew Davids. If you want to contact the Inquiries and Admissions Department, our email address is international.admissions southwales.ac.uk. So just feel free to drop us some emails into there, and we'll be able to respond as soon as we can. Okay.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us today. We hope we've answered as many of your questions as possible. If you do have any questions after today, please email us, get in touch by the live chat or through our website. We'd love to hear from you. Congratulations if you've already accepted your offer. We're looking forward to meeting you in January and February. We'll be around to meet you. Please check our website for all the important information. And again, congratulations on choosing the University of South Wales. This is the first step in your journey to joining us. And we're really looking forward to meeting you when you arrive.